Lost for words, Teresa hung up on Damon.
Ridiculous.
She thought, cursing herself for believing he would be able to help.
Once a loser, always a loser.
She reflected ruefully on the help she had given to him in his efforts to impress at Tiffany's party, pointing out the value of the gift he had given.
I even made an effort to be nice to him, but I wish I hadn't bothered.
She thought back over how she had felt about the prospect of him being her sister's boyfriend.
After all, he's a massive improvement on Enzo, but if he can't say anything helpful at a time like this, he's kidding himself. I don't care how much Tiffany likes him. She deserves better.
She thought back over his response to her sister's desperate situation. She broke down in tears. For a full half hour, she locked herself away in her room. Tearing her hair out, she tried and failed to come up with a way to save her family from bankruptcy, and, thereby, save her sister's life. There was only one option left open to her. She would have to give in to Enzo's disgusting demands.
Miss Vandergeld, at last.
The greeting from the doorman put paid to Teresa's hopes of being able to slip unnoticed into the Laurier Hotel. Gone were the days when she would be happy to be recognized arriving at a swanky hotel. Then, she had been regarded as a goddess. But now, she was nothing more than goods traded to save the Vandergeld family. She passed through the lobby without acknowledging the greeting and headed straight to Enzo's room. There was no need to ask which was his. It couldn't be anything other than the presidential suite on the top floor.
You came.
Enzo greeted her entrance without rising from the couch in front of a floor-to-ceiling window. He took a long draw on his cigar and blew out a smoke circle.
Yes.
Teresa forced the word out through gritted teeth and held her head high. She would not allow Enzo to see how painful it was for her. She wouldn't give him the pleasure of that. He had already gotten what he wanted. As Enzo stubbed out his cigar and started to rise from the couch, Teresa held out her palm to stop him.
Wait, I have one condition. I'll do anything you ask. Just don't bring my sister into this. If you do anything to hurt her, my family will make sure they take the Lauriers down with them.
Well, well. You're quite the hard ass, aren't you?
Despite his sneaking admiration, he knew he had the upper hand. He would make do with one of the Vandergeld sisters for now.
Let's get this straight.
Teresa steeled herself as he stalked toward her.
If I let you do what you want with me now, then that'll be an end to it. You'll help save my family from ruin. Deal?
Deal.
With a sardonic smile, Enzo pointed toward the window.
Well, come on then. Don't keep me waiting any longer. Get over there and take your clothes off.
You want me to do what?
Teresa had expected to be humiliated in front of Enzo, but not the entire neighborhood. She started to tremble and hoped he didn't notice.
Are you kidding me? There's a busy street out there. Everyone will see.
Enzo's upper lip curled and his eyes flashed contemptuously.
I'm a generous man. I'm happy to share. Now don't keep them waiting. I thought we had a deal. Are you backing out of it already? Anyway, you're hardly in a position to negotiate. Do you want your beloved family to be ruined because of you?
He positioned himself on the couch so that he was facing the window and beckoned for her to stand in front of him. Teresa fought back the tears as she forced herself to move, fearing that her legs would buckle. Her eyes widened as she got closer to the window and saw the crowd of people outside.
There's got to be half the hotel staff out there. What a creep.
Teresa turned to face her tormentor and fixed him with a sharp glare.
If looks could kill, eh?
Enzo sneered.
What are you waiting for? Hurry up. I've been looking forward to...
The phone rang. He snatched at the receiver.
Yes?
He barked. Recognizing the voice of the caller, he gave a snort.
What do you want, Damon? This is not a good time. You're interrupting me on important business. I'm not interested in anything you have to say.
He slammed down the phone and looked over toward Teresa.
Who told you to stop? Start taking your clothes off now. Or do you want me to bring Tiffany over after all?
At the threat of involving her sister, Teresa dutifully started unbuttoning her coat, taking it off as slowly as she dared before dropping it to the floor. Refusing to look at Enzo, and keeping as far away from the window as she could, she fumbled with the fastenings on her dress. Enzo watched her transfixed. He had been with more than his fair share of models and celebrities. His wealth had certainly boosted his attractiveness, but none to compare with the beauty of the woman in front of him. It was only the presence of the onlookers below that helped him resist the urge to take her in his arms there and then. Just as Teresa's dress dropped from her shoulders, the intercom buzzed. Enzo jumped and rounded on the door with a scowl. He had given strict instructions not to be disturbed. His word was as good as that of his father in the family's hotel, and his father's word was law.
Who's there?
Tyler.
Came a man's voice. Enzo knew Tyler Lancey. He was a close business associate of his father's and one of the major suppliers to the hotel chain.
My father isn't here right now. Wait in the lobby and I'll let his secretary know you're here.
There was no way he was going to let anyone in to spoil his fun with Teresa.
No need. Just pass a message to your father if you could. Tell him that I looked over the contract renewal yesterday and I've decided not to sign it.
What?
Enzo asked in alarm. He may not have worked in the hotel chain with his father, but he knew how important Tyler was to the business. His withdrawal from the contract would be a significant loss to the Laurier family. Without him, half the supply would be gone.
I don't get it.
He thought, as he recalled that his father had yielded to Tyler's request for an increased price when they had discussed the renewal terms for the contract the day before.
Dad told me it was worth to keep Tyler on board. They've been in business together for nearly a decade, so Dad was sure he wouldn't screw him over. Is this some kind of joke?
He asked, trying to keep his voice calm.
If you are sore because I didn't open the door straight away, then I'm sorry. I'll come and let you in now.
That won't be necessary. And this isn't a joke.
So what happened?
Enzo retraced his steps and reached for the phone, calling his father's direct line while he waited for the reply.
Someone approached me with a better offer.
How's that possible? You've been in business with my father for years. He's always played fair by you, hasn't he? I'm sure there'd be room for movement on the figures if that was a problem. I'm calling him right now.
You're wasting your time.
Tyler's tone was matter of fact.
As you said, I've been in business with your family for a long time now, so I know that the price I've been offered is far above anything you could afford to pay. I didn't come here to negotiate. I came here to do your father the courtesy of telling him in person. I felt I owed him that, at least.
Enzo heard his father's voice on the line and was about to speak when the intercom buzzed again.
Okay, Tyler. If you come on up, I have Dad on the line. If you've changed your mind, I'm sure he'd be willing to discuss the terms.
I am not Tyler,
said a different male voice over the intercom.
I am Kane.
Kane Espinoza?
Wondered Enzo.
What's he doing here?
Kane was like family. He and Enzo's father had been close friends since childhood and had gone on to become business partners. Kane was CEO of the Laurier Hotel chain and a major shareholder in the business.
Are you looking for my father too? If so, you're in luck. I have him on the other end of the line.
It's fine. I don't need to speak to him. Just let him know that I'm resigning as CEO. I've sold my shareholding in the business too.
For one moment, Enzo thought he must have misheard.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Enzo wasn't in the mood for much more bad news, and his voice rose in exasperation.
What has he done?
His father shouted down the phone. Enzo jerked the receiver away from his ear as his father's voice reverberated down the line.
I thought we were supposed to be best friends.
Hang on, Dad.
Enzo said, tentatively bringing the receiver closer.
He's still in the lobby.
Addressing Kane over the intercom, he said,
Dad wants to talk to you. Can you come up so I can put you on?
I can't stay. Tell your father I'm really sorry, but I've made my decision.
Tell him I'll pay him whatever he wants.
Raged the voice down the line.
I mean, surely after all these years, he knows I'm as good as my word. Has he forgotten how well I've treated him?
Enzo felt sure that, even over the phone and intercom, Kane must be able to hear his father loud and clear. He listened carefully and was sure Kane was still in the lobby, which meant there might still be some hope. The Laurier Hotel would lose face if it became public knowledge that Kane had resigned. He doubted they would be able to bounce back from that kind of damage to their reputation.
Dad wants to know what he can do to persuade you.
Enzo ventured, choosing his words carefully.
I'm sorry, but it was too good an offer to refuse. I know the Laurier Company and I know its limits. You'd never have been able to top it.
Enzo started to relay down the phone, but was interrupted.
I heard what he said.
His father yelled. Enzo was forced to pull his ear sharply away from the receiver again.
How is that possible? I paid him a 6-figure salary. 6 figures? Who did this to me? Who forced him to betray me in this way?